Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of Rich T Racing. Now in a completely different video to what we normally do, we're going to look at a bit of grassroots motorsport, namely go-karting. Now all three of us are big into go-karting, and if Suze were here as well, she would be included in that list, but it's just three of us for now. So what we are going to do is we're going to take you through our top tips for go-karting. And it should be pointed out that none of us are professionals. We take it seriously, but we are equally quite casual with it. So, Derrick, do you want to take us through your top tips?
So, my top tips start with a very important one. So, do your best not to get angry. And if you do get angry, you can be angry for that lap, but when you cross the start-finish line, use that as a reset point and just go back to concentrating on the driver in front of you and nailing every single corner. Now the second one is don't outdrive yourself and try and get better each lap. It's very rare that you're going to be at the top of your game at the start of the very first lap. Like, just try and improve a little bit each lap on each corner. Number 3 is never give up. If people keep passing you, just don't worry about it. Just keep pushing and keep doing the best that you can do. Number 4 is choose who you fight with. So sometimes it can be quicker to work with a person in front of you instead of overtaking them. In the wet, try to be consistent and not to spin. This is going to be a lot quicker than outdriving yourself, spinning, having to pick your kart back up or whatever it is. Number 6 is learn the track before you go to it, and this way you'll have an idea of where to go. Number 7 is make sure you do a track walk on the day, and this way you can test the conditions. You can see how slippy it is or not, and that's going to really help you on the day. Number 8 is make sure you're having a laugh, because if you're not having fun, then it's just pointless. Like, you may as well go home. Just make sure you're having fun, and then the whole day is just going to be such a great memory. Number 9 is try not to get caught up in the chaos of the first lap. It's just going to make the rest of your race so much nicer if you avoid it, if you haven't been hit and you haven't hit anyone. Number 10 is make sure you use any tool you can to improve your driving. So that's sim racing, do arrive and drives, watch other people's GoPro footage, record your own and watch your own footage, watch professional karters or even professional racing drivers, and that's all gonna just add to your toolbox of driving skills. Number 11 is get other people to watch you out on track, because they might notice something about you driving that you don't. And then my final tip is just to make sure that when you get out of that kart that you're going to feel like you've done everything you could have done in that race. Yeah, and that's everything from me. So JJ, what do you think? What are your tips?
Yeah, so my tips, just coming off the back of what you've said, my first point is learn the track before you go. And actually, that would feed into my second point, to practice as much as you can. So with learning the track, just look at pictures, watch GoPros, and also highly recommend wearing one of these when you're racing. And then sim comes into it a lot, like doing simulator stuff on like a Assetto Corsa, or just playing F1 2019 with a controller, for example. That can help you so much with certainly the mentality side of karting. And then when I say practice as much as you can, if you can go and do some indoor karting, or if you're perhaps off to do a much more serious race later in the week, go and do some hire kart racing. Go and do just get as much practice in as you possibly can, because it can only help. Number 3 for me is it's more about me than anything else. Don't eat too much beforehand, because you'll weigh more and you'll also get the shits, and nobody wants the shits when you're going round a racetrack. Number 4, I think is quite pertinent. Don't let the occasion get to you. Keep as calm as possible, because obviously it's quite an adrenaline-filled situation, and you could run the risk of getting yourself too hyped. And then whilst that might work, whilst that might be something you feed off, if it then goes wrong, you're going to feel worse, and that's just going to make the whole experience worse for you. If you're doing qualifying, if the racing you're doing has got qualifying in it, when you're doing your qualifying laps, don't push beyond your limits. Don't try and brake much later than you would do normally, because this is going to ruin your lap, and you'd be much better off driving to how in order to finish as high up as possible. If you drive too hard, you're just not going to finish very well. That point then similarly applies to my next point, which is at starts, be as controlled and as measured as possible, because there is simply no point ruining your race before it's even begun. Sometimes I've found this in the past, that sometimes it can actually help go a little bit more controlled and maybe lose a few positions at the start, because more often than not, if they're starting behind you, they're slower than you, and you will get them back. When you're in the race, this is what I have perfected in my mind over the past few years. Just aim to be consistent. Don't cock it up. Don't push yourself too hard. Just aim to keep the car on the track. It's the old cliche, to finish first you have to finish. That's what I've lived by whenever I've been on a track. Also a very good point with that if you can master consistency and being as smooth as possible in the dry, this will naturally be transposed into your wet weather driving, because that means that you will spin less, which is obviously better. When you're chasing someone down, or let's say you've had a really poor start and you're much further back than you should be, but you can see you're gaining on the person in front by a couple of attempts each lap, don't overdrive it. Just let yourself and the cart naturally come up to the back of this person, and don't force a move. Just wait for the opportune moment and you will get past them. Having said that, though, if you are in a race-long fight with someone and it's a case of you're going back and forth with each other literally every lap, apply what I've just said, wait for the opportune moment, but then be more aggressive, because that will say to that person that you are not getting past me and I am superior. And that will hopefully say to them, like, okay, I need to be more careful. And hopefully it will also dissuade them from trying to overtake you as well. And again, speaking about fighting, this is my most important point in karting. Don't look behind, because this will tell the person behind you that you're not focused on your own racing. You're more focused on them. That means you're going to push harder, and that means you're going to be more prone to making mistakes. And more often than not, if you're looking behind you at the person behind you, that person behind will overtake you on the very same lap. Obviously, the opposite applies if you are the one behind and the person in front is looking behind at you. And my final point is, once you're finished with the race, make sure to watch your footage back if you've got a GoPro. Or if you've not got a GoPro, look at your lap times, play the race back through your mind and think about where you went wrong or what you did right, so that you can take that going forward into your next race. PDubs, do you want to read us out the tips that you have accumulated in your time doing go-karting for the listeners to learn from?
So, for my initial one, I'm saying you want to get bumming seats. You want to get as much seat time as possible in the cart, or in any cart really. It'll all help. You want to be watching others, either on the TV or a track. So, even Formula 1 can help. Maybe looking at your lines and stuff. You want to read about the technical side of racing. So, like I just said, you want to learn about the racing line. You want to learn about cornering. You want to learn about your cart a little bit as well. You want to learn where you're best and where you need to improve. So if you know that you can brake late into a corner later than others, that's fine. But if you can somehow fuck up a hairpin, you want to get that sorted out. You want to record yourself and be critical of yourself. So you want to get a GoPro or something, or get someone to record you on track, and just look at yourself and then just think, how can I improve? Because all time taken off is just going to be better for you. If you can, a bit of sim racing, that'll go a long way. It just helps you out really. It's number 7. What have I said there? Listening to others and your cart. So again, same thing with recording yourself. Others look at you when you're racing. They can be critical of you, and they can say what you're good and what you're bad at. So you can just use that information there to improve yourself. And then you want to listen to your cart as well. You want to listen to your engine. You want to listen to your tyres. You want to make sure that everything is optimal. So you want to make sure your engine's running at optimal level. You want to push yourself to the limits of your comfort to further yourself. So you can, toot along all happy and dandy. You're not doing well enough. You want to be pushing yourself, and pushing the cart to the absolute limits to try and further yourself. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but again, once something's uncomfortable, you just have to get comfort into it. It all makes sense. And then number 9 is just don't slam the brakes, because you lock up your brakes, you're spinning out, and then that's it. Then you just lost loads of time, basically ruined your race.
So that is it for now. Thank you for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And the final thing for us to say now is ta-ta and farewell.